change the equation there?
Australia is one of the only places in the world that processes rare earth minerals.
Yeah,
could there be an agreement? China has 90% of the processing. Could there be an agreement over processing rare earth minerals with Australia?
sure. That's what we're doing. It's part of the agreement.
Can you
Can you say with certainty
Go ahead, please.
that thank you, sir. Just sorry.
Yeah.
On a follow-up on Taiwan, there are reports that you will come up, or China is pressuring you to not support independence for Taiwan in exchange for a trade deal.
Well, I'm not going to talk about that. What I'll talk about, you and I will have that discussion in a couple of weeks when I'm in South Korea with President Xi. We're going to be talking about a lot of things. I assume that's going to be one of the things, but I'm not going to talk about that now.
Mr. President, you just alluded to the violence in the Middle East. What steps is the administration taking to maintain the ceasefire?
Well, a lot of steps, and right now it's in the hands of others. You know, we have 59 countries that agreed to the deal. We have a peace in the Middle East for the first time ever. We made a deal with Hamas that, you know, they're going to be very good, they're going to behave, they're going to be nice, and if they're not, we're going to go and we're going to eradicate them if we have to. They'll be eradicated, and they know that. So they went in. They went in, and I don't believe it was the leadership, but they had some rebellion in there among themselves, and they killed some people, you know, a lot of people. But this is a violent group. You know, you probably noticed over the last 100 years, this is a very violent group of people. And they got very rambunctious, and they did things that they shouldn't be doing. And if they keep doing it, then we're going to go in and straighten it out, and it'll happen very quickly and pretty violently, unfortunately.
Yeah, just following up on that question, when you say we are going to eradicate Hamas, who is we? Does that include American boots on the ground?
No, it won't be on the ground at all. We don't need to, because we have many countries, as you know, signed on to this deal. The way I view it, 59 countries, and unanimous. There's never been, nobody ever believed us. Countries that 4 months ago didn't like each other, and now they're all aligned together. I mean, we've had countries calling me when they saw some of the killing with Hamas, saying we'd love to go in and take care of the situation ourselves. In addition, you have Israel would go in 2 minutes if I asked them to go in. I could tell them, go in and take care of it. But right now we haven't said that. We're going to give it a little chance, and hopefully there will be a little less violence. But right now, you know, they're violent people. Hamas has been very violent. But they don't have the backing of Iran anymore. They don't have the backing of really anybody anymore. They have to be good. And if they're not good, they'll be...
U.S. President Donald Trump on Monday issued a stark warning to Hamas, saying the Palestine's militant group would be eradicated if it violates the fragile Gaza deal with Israel, while also saying he would first give the truce a chance to hold. Trump made the remarks to reporters at the White House as he hosted Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, framing the agreement as a hard-won diplomatic achievement that still hangs on fragile compliance. Trump said the United States helped broker the ceasefire nearly 2 weeks ago, and that he expects Hamas to honor its obligations, including step out to returning the remains of Israelis hostages and elements of disarmament. We made a deal with Hamas that they are going to be very good, they're going to behave, they're going to be nice, and if they're not, we're going to go and we're going to eradicate them if we have to, he said. At the same time, he stressed that American forces would not be used for such an operation now, pointing instead of dozens of countries that have agreed to principle to join an international stabilization force and to Israel's own capacity to act. The White House comments came as Vice President J.D. Vance departed for Israel to join a diplomatic push aimed at shoring up the truce after a weekend of violence that threatened to unravel it. Tensions flared as Israeli authorities accused Hamas of delaying the transfer of the bodies of Israeli hostages and of carrying out attacks that killed Israeli soldiers. In response, Israel launched strike that caused dozens of Palestinian casualties in Gaza. Those incidents exposed the key fault line in the deal. how and when hostages remain and prisoners are exchanged, the pace and scope of Israeli withdrawals from some areas, and the future governance of security agreement for Gaza. International mediators, including the United States, Egypt, and others, have been working to craft a stabilization package that would potentially include a multilateral force, an administration agreement of parts of Gaza. Trump argued on Monday that Hamas is weaker than before and that regional bankers such as Iran are less likely to intervene following strikes earlier this year. A line intended to underscore the leverage the United States and its partners believe they now hold. Israeli officials have said that except firm commitment on the returns of hostages and on steps towards disarming Hamas has in turn argued it must be part of any plan that affects Gaza governance and security. U.S. envoys in Jerusalem are trying to bridge those positions while discouraging a renewed full-scale Israeli assault that could shatter the ceasefire and worsen the humanitarian crisis the coming days, including Vance's meeting and further talks between mediators and local actors will be closely watched for signs the truce can be stabilized or whether threat and repulsor push the region back towards broader conflict. Thanks for stopping by.